Today we're invited down to Woburn to the Titleist Performance Centre here. Absolutely unbelievable facility to take you guys through the brand new T-Series irons. So we're going to be hitting them here on the range, taking through all the data, all the numbers, and all my initial reaction. It's still not a bad place to be hitting balls, is it?
Yeah.
Look at that, beautiful. Yeah, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It's BP in a few years. So you got a few million to spare. So a few little looseners. Good. So this is obviously the new T100.
Correct.
Similar profile down by the ball, isn't it? I mean, I love the profile of the T100 anyway. Look, just
So
nice.
just to clarify, it'll be jumping the gun a little bit, but if you've seen it on camera, you can see there's a screw in the back of the head. So that's solely on fitting heads. That won't be anything to do with the final iteration of what the player gets, much like the sure fit hosel. They won't have, it will be a built up head that's normal, that won't be in there. The reason we've added that in is because obviously when you fit in a player that's 3/4 of an inch or an inch longer than standard, for swing weight purposes, we would use a lightweight head when we were building their set. But we want to make sure that we can test the lightweight version. So we can remove 6 grams of weight in the back of the head to match the swing weight that we're looking for when we build it, so that that player can test it in more depth to work out whether actually they prefer it being heavier or lighter. And in one instance, when we were doing this media stuff, there was a player that is normally 3/4 of an inch longer than standard actually prefers the weight at D9 than he would at D6, D.
I think a lot of those guys get used to it to a certain degree, don't they? Because they've not had this option before. It's just like you're an inch longer, swing weight's going to be like D9, E0, so they kind of get used to it. But that is such a good tool. And this is really where, like, obviously the performance of the club, great, but they're already so good. But things like that, such a cool addition to be able to dial people in even better from a fitting perspective. Like, so important.
Play big things.
Yeah, I'm very from the inside. And to be honest, if anything, that is like my miss, I would say. Like, it just dives, but thin as well. Like bottom groove, little bit thin. But that one I was trying to hit it a little bit lower, in fairness. But definitely find I do it a lot more outside. I mean, I'd take the shot, to be fair. It's the first one I've actually hit so far.
Well, it's okay, because I tagged all the other ones as a warm-up. So it'll be listed as warm-up on there. What's your normal numbers for a 7-iron?
Well, in terms of carry, ball speed, launch, carry. When I'm warm, probably around 180-ish. I'd say on course, I'll probably play at 170 to 175, realistically.
Cool.
Just can't stop thinning it.
Okay, good.
Quick touch on the T100 specs and differences then this year. I'll pop them up on screen for you now. One of the more noticeable things would just be the loft. Like the T100 previous model was 34° 7-iron, it's now 33° 7-iron. So they've effectively made it a little bit stronger. And now, I think John touched on it when we were at Woburn. Effectively, they had PGA and LPGA tour players wanting to play this head, but in different sort of makeups. What they would find is kind of in the 34° head, a lot of the LPGA would want to bend it to sort of 32. And effectively what happens is not only does that add offset when you bend it strong, but it obviously takes off bounce. So if we're effectively like that and we bend it stronger, and that's a bit of an extreme example, but effectively when you bend it strong, you're taking off bounce, which is not great for better players. So they wanted to go in the middle. So if a lot of the PGA Tour guys want to play it at 34, they can just bend it 1 week without massively manipulating kind of offset, onset, and bounce, and vice versa with the LPGA players. They can obviously tweak it 1 degree strong, and again, not having as much of an impact on the kind of offset or the bounce and how the club's actually playing. So it kind of does make sense. Now, one of the biggest changes that they're saying to the T100 lineup this year is in the mid to short irons, where they've designed steeper and more aggressively walled grooves. Now, what they're saying that's going to do is maintain spin better out of rough and wet conditions. Apparently they had some tour players saying that out of rough and in wet conditions they would get the odd slight jumper where that spin just didn't really retain, spin would drop, and you'd get that few extra yard carries. They really worked hard in the mid to short irons, designing a better groove pattern that's just going to help maintain that spin coming out of rough. And in wet conditions, obviously it's going to be quite hard for someone like me to test and prove that, but I'm sure the R&D team have done loads of work, and even a small improvement to the guys on tour and the good players hopefully can just help hit their number a little bit more consistently. Other changes are really just in the longer irons. So the 3 and 4 iron now in the T100 have the muscle channel added, that technology which in the T150, which effectively is just giving them more options to lower CG to increase launch effectively with the VFT as well, variable face thickness, effectively helping as much as possible to retain ball speed across the face, increase launch to get better, more forgiving, higher flying, longer irons.
So we'll test 150 next, and then we'll go to 250, then 350, and then the fifth head that we were talking about. Feel on that, other than the thins, obviously, the clean strike.
Well, I was going to say I probably wouldn't mind hitting a couple more, because I probably only hit one good so far. But the one flush felt lovely. But again, that's one of the reasons I love playing the T100s. Like, they just feel so good out the middle. And to be honest, for such a small profile, I always found that they were unbelievably good on those lows. I get a few toes as well.
Yeah.
They just do so well. Like,
yeah,
but they look great, feel great.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a hair bigger, isn't it? But like really not much at all, like top line.
Good.
Still looks very, very neat. All right, see if we can not thin this one. That would be helpful. All ready to go, mate?
All good.
Nice. Yeah, it was a little bit better. Maybe a one groove low, but pretty good. That register 8.2 spin on there.
It didn't register on here. I think I stepped in the front. Apologies on that.
14.7 launch. One of those people that need a lesson, not only golf club. That is so low.
That's better.
It's one of them now where you go, I like this club more, but the reality is I'm actually just swinging slightly better.
Well, we'll find out. This is just the testing stage, right?
Sweet.
So we'll go back and we'll have a look, because obviously you're playing T100 as it is.
Yeah.
So we'll have a look at T100 again when we start the fitting process. But this is just general, hit each one, get an idea of what they're doing, not tweet lies, length, anything like that. Just what do they do?
Nice. Nice. Feels good. Like that.
One more?
Yeah. The T150 remains in pretty much a similar position as the old model, 32° 7 iron, so fractionally stronger than the T100, slightly bigger profile than the T100. Again, John was saying that they made slight change to the blade length. I believe, hopefully it is in the video. I think he was saying they made it 1 or 1.5 millimeters longer, so it's fractionally longer, which makes the top line appear fractionally smaller. Again, so subtle changes like that. Again, they've got that same groove technology as the T100, so 7 up to try and retain more and better spin out of the rough and in wet conditions. And they're saying sort of an improved muscle channel, 7 up or 7 down, so effectively into the longer irons. So again, try and fine tune launch and spin, get a little bit more launch in the longer irons, and just help people get better ball flight, more distance, more carry, better descent angle.
Okay.
A bit of a click.
In the body or the club?
In the club.
Yeah, it's okay.
You've got path numbers on there. I'm actually aiming, I reckon I'm aiming miles right.
I'm not going to show you path numbers.
2 number driven, aren't we?
You are very number. Well, you fit, right? So
yeah.
you're a prime example of I'm not going to show you anything, because you're just going to end up reacting to what you see. So once we've established what we like and what's working and what's doing what, then we can delve a little bit. But I'm not going to do anything that's going to potentially affect the outcome because you can see numbers.
Yeah. Tell you what, that looks very similar to the 150 from above, doesn't it? Like, very similar.
So very different from T200.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of asset. Well, the whole thing is different, obviously.
Definitely
There's no backplate anymore, but
unbelievably clean, isn't it? Like, just couldn't get much cleaner than that, could you? And again, down by the ball, it just, looks almost like just 150, really. Like, you couldn't tell much different.
Good.
Which is what you want.
Yep, definitely, especially from a cross-blending element. If you're going to blend someone into a set of irons and they go into a 250 100%. At the top end, if they're not noticing as much of a change visually,
it's even better, isn't it?
Right? Nice strike.
That was ooshed.
What is your spin saying there?
Basically 6.6.
Yeah, 6.585.
Yeah. So the T250 sort of remains unchanged in where it sits in the lineup, similar to the T150. So it's still a 30.5 degree 7-iron, so not a massive change there. But where the big change does come is that look. That is absolutely, it's just completely transformed. The whole look of that iron looks so much cleaner, so much sleeker. And in terms of the finish, they've been able to now keep that very consistent as well. So if you're looking at comboing any of these irons, the finish throughout all of them just looks really, really nice. Obviously, with it being hollow body, we've still got all that technology in there. The max impact that they're saying is slightly enhanced this year, just to trying to keep things consistent, right? That's the main thing, consistency and fine tuning. We know out and out performance is not going to be a dramatic leap year on year on year, but just trying to fine tune sort of little bits here and there to make the ball speed a little bit more consistent. Obviously, they've got the progressive groove technology to help maintain that spin as much as possible, coming out of rough and wet conditions as well, to really control that front to back dispersion that little bit better. They've still got the split tungsten weighting, which obviously gets fine tuned through long irons to short irons to help increase launch in the lower irons and really fine tune sort of launch and spin in the short irons. So it's all these kind of things, right? It's little tweaks. Yeah, we know we're not going to see loads more distance, right? It's still a same loft really, but in terms of the look and the feel and that consistency across the face of ball speed and spin, it's just fine tuning little bits year on year. And again, as always, I think they're doing a great job.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my miss. Not a bad strike, but just
bit start line,
bit slingy. I could start changing, but I'm not gonna.
No,
I'm not gonna.
No, you hit as you're hitting. One more. Very good.
Certainly goes up still, doesn't it?
Yeah. Feel?
Yeah, like it's still like a little bit firmer, isn't it? I would say, but you don't know how much of that is just connecting to the sound, especially around here. Because I don't know, to you guys, it sounds a little bit like that higher pitch, which kind of like echoes a bit around the trees a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does.
But see, it feels like, really feels hit when you like, it feels solid. Very enjoyable to hit. On 94 carry. 194 carry into the bushes. That's what we want.
However, it's at 51 on land angle. Yeah. So you land at 51 on land angle, which is 116 feet in the air.
Wow.
So this is part and parcel of the stuff that I was saying in the education days.
Yeah.
Is when people are saying, well, it's a 30.5 degree 7-iron, so that's why it's going so far.
Yeah.
Okay, you give me a 5-iron that's at 29 and hit it 116 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Most players can't.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the dynamics or the speed to do so.
Yeah.
So my argument to them is, if you understand the tech in the head, and when you add all of that weight and you pull that CG back and you add MOI because the sole's a bit deeper, the CG comes back and low.
Yeah.
If you don't move the loft, you turn a 7-iron into an 8 or a 9-iron for the player.
Yeah.
And then they start thinking, okay, well, if it's stronger in loft, but it's still going high and it's still landing at 51, is it really a 5-iron?
Yeah.
Not really. Matter. No. It doesn't really matter because you're pin seeking.
Yeah.
And it's what the player needs. As long as we're achieving that and we're not like it like losing anything else. And this is the beauty of our 3D philosophy, because the land angle is depicted by launch and spin.
Yeah.
So in order for us to get that, we have to have these two in a good spot.
Yeah.
And the reason why we might not necessarily focus on launch angle is because a player's dynamics might depict what kind of launch angle that is.
Yes.
You get someone that's grown up on links, I can guarantee you that launch angle is going to be lower than somebody that plays in Florida.
Yeah, 100%.
But as long as you're working the lever system in the correct manner, if you think about it as a lever system, if you had perfect spin, perfect launch, and then you get a player that squeezes it, as they squeeze the launch down, I want the spin going up to achieve the same sort of ball flight, and vice versa. If they're a picker of the golf ball, I want the launch to go up and the spin to go down. But I don't want extremes.
No.
But I want it to work in the manner that that player reacts to achieve that land angle that we're going to achieve.
Yeah.
Because that's your biggest stopping power into a green.
Yeah.
Like night and day. Like it doesn't matter if you've got 8,000 spin, if it's launching at 10, it's still going to skid that green a little bit if it's landing at 37. That's driver numbers, right? Yes. If you can get 51 and it's spinning at 5.5 and you're used to seeing 7, I can guarantee you if it's coming in at 51 degrees, it's got more chance of stopping than if I give you 45 with 6.5.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's just hitting the ground harder. Yeah,
definitely.
So there's definitely, we definitely look at it 100%, but if we get the land angle right, we know the launch and spin is going to be in the right fashion for that player.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at that, boys.
Yeah, sun's out.
Big yellow thing. Oh, I didn't bring suntan lotion now.
I've got some if you need some.
I might actually end up. We'll see how the weather progresses.
We'll look after you, don't worry.
Because
we won't let you go bright red by the end of the day.
My mum's ginger and my dad's Scottish. Screwed.
So this is T350.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you do notice this does get noticeably bigger now, but obviously part and parcel of the iron design. But it still doesn't look offensive, to be fair.
No, not at all.
Especially when you made it like that.
No, but this was to the point that we were speaking about before. If you're not taking the biggest of divot anyway, and then you go into something where the sole's a lot wider on the bottom, unless the player changes dynamics, you might not be able to get in the back of the ball.
Yes, that is.
There you go.
I did change slightly there. Sorry. It is annoying when you get.
You probably would have to a little bit though, looking at the last few strikes that you had with 250, because you will tend to catch it a little bit on the thin side.
Yeah, I tend to get very inside, but like my angle of attack normally inside is still like
down
5, 6, 7 down. So I'm like very inside and very down, which is a little unusual normally, but. T350 again remains unchanged in where it sits in the lineup. It's the biggest kind of head, biggest footprint with the strongest loft, so still a 29-degree 7-iron. The engine is trying to offset that with the bigger head, allowing deeper CG to try and retain as much launch as possible, but it is still the strongest loft in this lineup. All the benefits from the T250, the all-steel construction looks super, super clean, super sleek. The possible combos are endless really now with this sort of T-Series lineup. Still got the enhanced max impact, the same as the T250. The split dual tungsten weight-in, kind of fine-tuned throughout long and short iron. So all of the technology that's gone into all of the other models into this in that super sleek, super clean look.
Nice.
That's the one is.
So if you look at that one as an example, right? So with the 250, ball speed was 135, 14.9 launch, 6.4 spin, 50.5 land angle, 113 on height. And then you go to that one there, and you've only lost 2 feet height, but you will lose speed, spin.
Spin, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going further, but it's still landing at 48.
Yeah. And
that's where your cutoff is. So like, for me as a fitter, if I'm deciding what models we test, we've hit all 3. For you, that sole design's a little bit on the big side.
Yeah.
So it's not getting as much peak height because you can't get into the back of the ball as much. And without changing your dynamics, which we never want to do, we can still see you still got height. You've still got stopping power at 48. It's just that's where your trade-off comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It still felt really nice though. Again, got that slight firmer feel than obviously the 100 and 150, which you'd expect, right?
Yeah, so it's the fastest, most forgiving head that we do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give up height, land angle, distance, dispersion, all those sort of like 3Ds that we work off. But that doesn't mean it's good for everyone. You might find at the top end you prefer it because you pick the ball better with longer irons than you would do necessarily attack it with shorter irons. So this is the 5th model. Just put it down and hit, and then I'll tell you what it is after.
I'm generally not going to look.
He's itching to though. Right, off you go.
Definitely looks slightly different. Looks slightly different. Holy! I launched so high.
And again.
Felt like a good strike, to be fair.
Was good strike.
Yeah.
And again. So you even tried to squeeze that so it couldn't launch that high.
Yeah, a little bit, to be honest. But I know my bad habit's doing that, and that's why I think I thin it. So I'm trying to really focus on just keeping my chest over it.
Nah, just hit normal. Just hit normal for today.
Definitely, it's an incredible amount more launch, isn't it? Insane.
19 degrees of launch on that one.
Yeah, that'll go up, won't it?
55 land angle.
I'll stop.
Yep. Okay, so you can look now.
250 star.
250 launch spec. The reason we got a star on there is just so we know which model is which.
Yeah. That's it.
So 250 launch spec. So everything is exactly the same as 250, bar that it's 6 grams lighter in head weight. So it's 6 grams lighter in head weight, and it's 35 degrees of loft.
Wow.
As opposed to 30 and a half.
Now this, I think, is one of the biggest game changers that Titleist have released this year. T250 launch spec. Now, when John gave this to me to hit, I couldn't really pinpoint what exactly it was, but holy beep did it launch when I hit it. It just went up in the air. When I initially started hitting the T100, it was launching like 13, 14, 15 degrees. My first few shots with this was like 90. Like, it's mental. So it's a traditionally lofted, lighter weight T250. So all the benefits of the technology and the low CG to help increase launch, which is traditionally why they would obviously strengthen lofts a little bit, with the CG being lower to help increase launch. If they did a traditionally lofted iron with that technology like they've done now, my God, does it launch? And it does. So that is going to be a fantastic option for us in the fitting bay. Obviously, don't just go out and buy it because it could actually be horrible for you. But for us as fitters, to have the options in the bay, lighter weight, for a lot of people is a lot better. It'll help just maybe edge out that little bit more swing speed as well and just be more comfortable. The more lofted option with that technology helping to really increase launch. If you need launch, this iron is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I love that. That's so good.
4.5 degrees weaker in loft and 6 grams lighter. So, and you can make it 6 grams further lighter. So it can be 12 grams lighter than current T250. So key design reason that was for was feedback in the States was a lot of people were finding that, you remember we had T400, we were chasing like velocity to get the ball in the air, so we're trying to give them distance as well as height through velocity off the face. Not the prettiest thing to look at.
No.
Okay, so they were looking at engineering ways that they could achieve similar sort of patterns but in a different design. And when they tested with players, a launch spec version versus 350 versus 250, which one would they prefer? 9 out of 10 so they prefer to look at 250 than 350. And what they're finding is that players that, you know, Ben our category lead, he talks about it as like your club champion from 20 years ago that always played blades, still playing golf, lost a lot of speed, but still has a particular ball flight he likes to see. This is a design for him. It's the closest thing you're going to get to a blade that's not a blade in terms of having tech involved. It's 35 degrees of loft, so they're not seeing strong lofts, they're seeing conventional lofts. It gets the ball higher in the air. Depending on where you play, depends on whether you get, how much you get benefit out of it. If you're a links player and you're popping it that high, you're going to struggle a little bit into wind, but downwind you'll be a demon.
Great,
but if you're playing in places like the States and Florida, stuff like that, where they're finding that they're players are hitting it further because it's in the air for a lot longer.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's in the air for longer. It's traveling 12 yards further. They've got distance back, but they've also got this ball flight that they didn't have before.
Yeah. No, I've got to say, I love that. Absolutely. Like, I always felt that there was that little gap in the market for someone who does squeeze it a little bit, but like, well, I don't really want to play a T100. Like, I don't feel like the profile's not really there. Maybe across the face it doesn't feel as helpful, but something like that, the T250 head design with that loft, that fills a big gap, I think, for a lot of players.
And I think it's a good tool as well to explain to people, like, it's great that they've done this, because this is, like you said, it's going to fill a gap in the market, but also as a fitter, it's a good tool to explain to people why the lofts move.
Yeah.
Because we've put you in the 250 at 30.5.
Yeah.
And it was good numbers.
Yeah.
We've put you in it with 4.5 degrees weaker.
Yeah.
And it's gone 126 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So like at 176, that's fine because you got the speed at 95. But like when you were hitting the 250, you were at 190.
Yes.
So if you're a player that's used to seeing that number, and I say, I'll just weaken it for you, and the strike is good and everything, with all the tech, all I've done is I've turned your club, I've taken distance off you. Yeah, I've given you height and stuff like that, but how many players are going to come in and be like, I hit my 7.9, 170, and you give them 150? And they go,
don't want that.
I'm not having that.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But that's a reason that if you get a player that goes, I love an MB, but I want more help. So a bigger sole might be good, or more tungsten, bigger sweet spot, all of that sort of stuff working in. If you don't affect the loft a little bit to account for the increase in height, you are just going to pull distance off them. So it's matching what they've currently got with a better ball flight, rather than necessarily let's just crank the loft for the sake of it going further. It's got nothing to do with that. It's the other way around. We reverse it. So it's what can we do to make it more forgiving? What can we do to make it better off center strikes? So toe, heel strikes, putting the tungsten in there, all the tech in. But how can we do all that without costing anything to the player? So then it's, okay, what happens with the tech? Now the ball's going at this height with this much spin. That's too much. Let's strengthen the loft a little bit, make the sole work through the turf a little bit better. Now what does it do? Well, that's the same 7-iron flight, similar numbers that they're getting with loads of help.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think that's going to be a really, really good option for us in the fitting bay, to be fair. It could help a lot of people.
I think it's not, the great thing is for me, because I've not fit many people yet with this model. In general, I've like tested it with players and stuff like that, but I've not like had a huge repertoire of the year because we're at this stage of the launch. It'll be good for me to see who actually goes into it, whether it's like junior based that want to be in like Titleist equipment, but maybe not necessarily in a T100 and T150 because of weight, timing, because you're going to cut it down, obviously, and stuff like that. With it
lighter head,
being a light head version, it's easier for us to then maybe match a swing weight that they can deliver, but it looks good in the bag, and they don't feel like they're using something that they want to blade. Do you know what I mean? So
with all the swing weight options, and then that, and then the different head designs, and then the different lofts, like you cover in pretty much every base, really, aren't you?
Yeah, there's a lot. And then now that we've done a little bit of, you've tested the heads, you picked up on earlier the short fit sleeve being a little bit different, looks a bit like the wedge one. So the benefit of this is, before, you guys will know, when you're in the bays with our short fit sleeve, you could go 2 degrees flat, standard, 2 up, 4 up. Okay, we can now do that all in 1 degree increments. So you can go 2 flat, 1 flat, standard, and then all the way up to 4.
In one, wow, that's class.
In 1 degrees. But you can also, with the third ring, affect loft. We can go 1 strong or 2 weak.
And you can independently do loft and lie. Yeah, that's so good.
So I can go flat, 1 flat, 2 weak. 2 flat, 1 weak.
I think this is where the market's going, isn't it? So much more. Like, obviously the clubs, like amazing and all this kind of stuff, but having these extra options and the swing weight, and then the different like sleeve settings and lie angle and lofts to test and really dial people in, like you giving us something like that. Like, obviously the clubs are great and that's amazing, but having the ability to actually test that much more and dial people in that much more in the bay, like, you're almost going to gravitate towards that more, because you can get a better result for the client as well. So
it just it opens your windows up as well. Like, obviously I know I work for Titleist and everything, but as a fitter, and that's how I think about it as a fitter, when I want to test things, even if I know they're going to be wrong, it's better for the golfer's journey to understand why. Like, why are we testing 2 degrees flat versus 1 degree flat. Well, I'm looking at ball flight. Does your start line change? Does it affect the turf interaction? You know, if I go weak, do I create enough bounce that you feel like you can get in behind the ball more and actually swing like you want to, rather than trying to pick it because you feel like I want to be in the T100, but it digs a little bit, like by weakening the loft. Do we alleviate that? All of that stuff, it just makes it, a lot more fun and a lot more beneficial to the golfer, because they're going to have more understanding as to why they've gone into something, and they're going to appreciate it more because they've tested more of it. So, you know, I've always been, this with this, but, we've messed around with lofts and lies with my pro. We weren't really sure if the data was working. I just took it out on the golf course and tested it. We don't have to, we do that now. So we're going to do that with you. We'll test it and you can see it affecting lie, affecting loft, what it does to your ball flight, what it does to your strike. And then that's a great tool for you to have then when you're
100%.
When you're fitting back.
And then they just get a better fit ultimately, don't they? The customer gets a better experience, better fit. And
exactly that.
happy.
Exactly that.
It's all about.
Cool. I've had a couple of questions from a couple of our media partners where they've said, okay, well, who would this be best for? I said to you, 250 launch spec. I don't know yet because I haven't had enough people test it and hit it. Normally good ball strikers like yourself that get height and spin have got speed, you're not probably going to go into a 250 because of the height, unless you're playing somewhere where there's an incredible altitude, right? And then there's an option, because you can increase spin and launch and then gain your distance control through a different model of head. Whereas the rest of the set, it really does depend on your dynamics and what your ball flight is doing.
100%. Absolutely.
So it's almost impossible for us to do. We've had a couple where someone's come down and they've gone, I'm going to be in this, and they end up in T1. Because that gives them the ball flight they need, and they actually strike the ball quite well. And it's not handicap based at all. It's solely based on your technique, how the strike works, how your specs are, how it operates on the 3Ds, and then what it plays like at the end.
100%. Like you say, dynamics are everything. Handicap, take into account a little bit, but the dynamics of what you need for that player is everything.
I take the thing I take into account when it comes to the handicap question is, where do you lose your shots? Is the first thing I ask. Okay, you're an 18 handicap or you're a 24 handicap. Why are you a 24? I don't hit the ball that far. Well, that doesn't mean you're not a good striker of the golf ball. It just means you're at a disadvantage because you don't hit it as far. So then fitting someone into like a 350 for argument's sake, just because he told me he was a 24 handicap, but he's a flusher, he's just got no speed. Why am I doing that? That's a disservice to that person. So let's test all the models. You tell me what you like. I'll tell you what the data says. I'm always going to be backed by the data because performance is key for us. It's 100%. On the wall everywhere. It's all about performance.
Absolutely.
So as long as it works, as long as the data is where we like it, and as long as the player is on board, perfect. That's a great thing. But I'm not going to push anybody in any certain way. I'm going to let the data help me make that decision with them.
100% agree. That's absolutely the best way to be, isn't it? Best way to do it.
100%.
Is there any rough comparison data between them? I don't know if I hit any good enough, really.
No, you did. Definitely good.
Not the T100. We might have to re-hit that one.
We might have to re-hit
out of every one of those.
Obviously, we hit a warm-up. When you hit the T100, 94 feet, 7.4 spin, a little bit thin, but that was the best strike that you probably hit, which was 96, 177, 7.5 on the spin, land angle at 48.5, 130 ball. Okay? You move into the 150, similar ball speed, more height. For you. Launch angle up a little bit. 250, launch angle up a little bit more, land angle up, spin down a fraction, stronger loft. We're going to expect to see that come down. 190 carry, 113, ball speed up a little bit. T350 struggled for strike because of sole design, but you can see it still achieved 101 feet of height, best one being 111, so not far off where the previous model was. And then you get to 250 launch spec, and it's your tightest dispersion of all of them. 55 land angle, 128 feet of height, 7.4 spin. What that probably screams to me, and it's just probably more because I've experienced turf interaction and looked at what it is, the sole design in the loft was beneficial for you. So the loft was good because it got the ball up in the air, created enough spin so that the miss left and right wasn't as big. Obviously with that tungsten being in there, that helps. And that helps with your dispersion. Now, would I want you at 55 land angle if you're playing in the States and it wasn't windy? All for it, get in there. But I think you've probably got options, and this is where our fitting kit comes in. We can weaken the T1 by 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Or we can weaken the 150 by 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Depending on how much of that sole starts to play a part.
Yeah.
I would like to look at the idea of going 2 week and a 150 and a 100.
Okay.
And then obviously affecting your lie, because everything there was standard lie, and then seeing what that does before I then do anything.
That's all standard lie. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
You're the fitter, mate.
Cool.
Absolutely happy with it. The continuation video of that is coming next, and it's exactly that. John taking myself and Tom through a full fitting process for the new T-Series iron. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe, stay tuned. That's coming next. So there you go, an initial little look at the brand new T-Series irons coming soon. It was a little bit of a dive into some of the technology and some of the numbers. Obviously, stay tuned, because when we get them back into the studio, we'll do our thing. So we'll really dive into the detail and the depths of how these heads can perform, take you through all of the numbers. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you stay tuned for that, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.